So the EFCC has quickly granted this woman bail. We just hope that this investigation will be thorough. The Humanitarian Affairs Ministry was created to alleviate the sufferings of the Nigerian people. But these people saw it as a medium to loot our treasury. Let me allow you listen to this video, because the real thing that these people were supposed to be doing in this ministry, they were not doing it. They only paid attention to sharing of money. I mean, sharing, sharing, sharing. Take a look at this video.
The name of the ministry is Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. But what I notice sometimes is the lack of real focus on poverty alleviation. When you look at their website, you go through the website, you don't see too many programs talking about advocacy on poverty alleviation, talking directly on that. The president himself typically talks about poverty alleviation, and I commend him for that, because that is a grave problem that is facing the nation. As we all know, always and everywhere, the poverty is a clear reflection of the level of human capital deficiency in the country. So what we have in the country is a grave level of human capital deficiency. That's why, as a country, we have more people in poverty than any other country in the world at this time, even larger than India, representing well over 11% of the total number of people in poverty in the world, when we only represent about 2.5, 2.7% of the population of the world. So it shows that this is a serious problem that faces us as a nation, and we've got to take it very seriously. And as you said, we have therefore the necessity. It's a matter of necessity and urgency, that we come up with the best kinds of methods, to address this problem. The way we've been doing it, even including my time, and I have to give kudos to people who try to run these programs, because there's a lot of influence that you get all over the place, from everywhere. They're trying to have you do it this way or that way. But I think that the way we've been fighting poverty in Nigeria is not correct. The way we've been fighting poverty in Africa is really not correct. That's the reason we have massive numbers of people in poverty. You don't fight poverty just by taking money and giving to people. That will never end poverty anywhere. Poverty is ended by creating well-paying jobs, by making sure that we are producing. We've got to subdue the earth. The way to subdue the earth is to train people to have the skills to produce the goods and services that the people of the world want.
So guys, this man just vindicated Peter Obi, because it is the same thing that Peter Obi has been saying. Get Nigerians working, create jobs for Nigerians, engage the people, move them from consumption to production. We need people to be active. People should be doing one thing or the other. Engage the youths in the north. Agriculture is there. Engage the people. Look at Lagos, it's full of touts. Engage these people, let them learn some skills and begin to work. That way our naira will gain value. That way we'll be able to export. That way Nigeria will start to progress. But do you know what? APC does not understand that language. They only know the language of grab it, snatch it, run with it. Power is not served a la carte. You can see the looting spray. The looting has just begun. We only know these ones now. Do you know the ones we have not still uncovered? Let me allow you listen further.
Now, when you can't get everybody into the mainstream of that mode of production, then as you have those who fall through the cracks, you can have a way of supporting them through, for me, initially microcredit. Microcredit is a very, very powerful tool that we need to use. We are now working with our microfinance institutions across the country. It is essential that we support microfinance institutions. We have states, local governments, and the federal government supporting microfinance institutions and helping them, giving them funds. There are a number of ways to do this. Lending money to them is one way, so that they can lend, they can go ahead and on-lend to people. And it's easier to get your money back that way. It's very transparent. So you can get your money directly back from microfinance institutions. The records will be there. Now, those who fall through those cracks, where there are some people that cannot get microcredit, then for those people, you give them this conditional cash transfers. As you may know, I introduced a conditional cash transfer into Nigeria when we had the program in 2006, 2007, with the support of the MDG office. But I actually literally introduced a very unique brand of conditional cash transfer, which we don't use as we should. A type of brand that does not set up a welfare state where you keep people on welfare and keep supporting them interminably. So if you do it the right way, you will never need to have cash anywhere that you hand to people directly. So there are ways of doing this. So you pay this money through microfinance institutions. The records will be there. It will be done electronically. The microfinance institutions can go to even the remotest of places if it needs to be on motorcycles. And they will have their instruments with them on the days of disbursement in the presence of chiefs and people. And the people who have been selected will be given these resources. But we tend not to do it that way for a number of reasons. Sometimes we use these programs for politics, and that never helps our society. So, as a matter of, I don't know if we have the time, but I have clear methods that you can use to provide resources to people without having these kinds of problems. Even on the fuel subsidy issue, I have submitted papers to the government several times on how you can provide a temporary economic assistance card to people. And we can have only designated people get fuel subsidy. I am not against removing fuel subsidy for the rich, but I think that we should have fuel subsidy for certain categories of people for a country like ours. The people are suffering. We have an inflation rate of over 28%. Then we have the kind of suffering that people go through walking sometimes because they can't afford simple basic transportation across the country. There are ways of supporting them and doing it adequately. Let me say one more thing. The federal government sometimes is too arrogant. And this is how it has been since any time. I'm not talking about this administration alone. Even when I was in the government, I always said that the federal government was too arrogant. The federal government cannot do it alone. They cannot. We have seen that they cannot. So we have to have programs that bring together federal, state, and local, and the private sector, and personalities that can help. There are ways of doing these kinds of coordination, and this is what I expected would be done in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. I know that there are some individuals in that ministry, even now, some that were my colleagues when I was in government, that are very capable and understand some of the wonderful things that can be done. And so in our ministry, we come up with policies for coordinating programs transparently.
So the APC wants to grab power they don't know how to manage. That's what we saw in the last election, and they are talking about 2027 already. They want to grab power, stay in power where they don't know how to proffer solutions to the challenges Nigeria faces. So you can see what is happening. These people lack ideas. We have leaders with no IQ, leaders who do not think, leaders who only think about money. Where do we go to borrow? Where do we go to borrow? Is the World Bank ready to give us some funds? Where do we get more money? Where else can we go to borrow? Borrow, borrow, borrow. They don't think of how to create wealth. Tell me which of them own good and legitimate businesses. They don't know what it means to own a business because most of them have been in politics for years. And that is why the looting continues under the APC. Nigerians, wake up, recover your country from the hands of these politicians. As they are planning for 2027, the Nigerian youth should start thinking of planning more smarter than them because a new Nigeria is possible. Please drop your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon. Thank you.